everybody, it's Miss Marie, and today we are going to be reading some fairy tales. Now, when I think of fairy tales, I think back to this book that I had when I was a child. It had been my uncle's book. It was published in 1945 when my uncle was 10 years old, and these are pretty scary stories for a little child. These are really meant for a 10-year-old or older, even though it looks like for little kids because there's little children on the cover. This book is too scary, I think, for you guys. So today what we are going to be doing instead is reading modern fairy tales. They still have adventure, they still have magic, they still have dragons and bears and wolves, oh my, but they're not quite so scary. So that's what we're going to be reading today, and they're really, really fun, and I hope you enjoy them, and we'll see you upstairs while we read some modern fairy tales. No more old-fashioned scary stories. Bye. Okay, everybody, for today's opening song, we're going to be doing one that's kind of perfect for spring, which it's almost spring. I'm going to say it's spring. And also perfect for our fairy tale story time because it's about a frog. Now, what colors are frogs usually? Green, of course, right? So here's how the song goes. You can crouch down like a frog and you're going to hop. Okay, ready? But first, let's sing. Have you ever seen a green frog, a green frog, a green frog? Have you ever seen a green frog go hop, hop, hop? Good. What about a brown frog? I've seen a brown frog, sure. You ready? Have you ever seen a brown frog, a brown frog, a brown frog? Have you ever seen a brown frog go hop, hop, hop? Good, good. Oh, what other colors could a frog be? Remember, it can be make-believe. What about a purple frog? Are you ready? Have you ever seen a purple frog, a purple frog, a purple frog? Have you ever seen a purple frog go hop, hop, hop? How about a red frog? Oh my goodness, you ready? Have you ever seen a red frog, a red frog, a red frog? Have you ever seen a red frog go hop, hop, hop? What other colors could we have? Could we have an orange frog? Why not? Have you ever seen an orange frog, an orange frog, an orange frog? Have you ever seen an orange frog go hop, hop, hop? How about, let's do one more. Have you ever seen a pink frog? Have you ever seen a pink frog, a pink frog, a pink frog? Have you ever seen a pink frog go hop, hop, hop? I love those. Oh, did somebody say a polka dotted frog? We forgot to do that one. All right, let's do a polka dotted frog. Ready? Have you ever seen a polka dot frog, a polka dot frog, a polka dot frog? Have you ever seen a polka dot frog go hop, hop, hop? Good job, everybody. Good job. Are you ready to hear some great modern fairy tales? All right, stick around. Here we go. Hi, everybody. All right, are we ready to hear some fun modern story time stories? Okay. Well, this one is going to look really familiar, but it's different. Let's see. Red hood, check. Basket full of goodies, check. Big bad wolf, I don't know, check. Let's see. It's called Federico and the Wolf, and it is by Rebecca J. Gomez, and it's illustrated by Elisa Charvari. And it has these beautiful end papers. I love how colorful these are. And it's published by Clarion Books. So let's see what's going to happen in the story. And if you listen, it also rhymes, which is really fun. And it has some Spanish words in it, which I'm going to do my best at. Once upon a modern time, a boy named Federico left to buy ingredients to make the perfect Pico. At the end, it will tell us what the Pico is if you don't know. Cuidado, called his mama as he pedaled toward the shops. Mind Abuelo's grocery list and don't make other stops. Means careful. Past the buildings, cars, and cabs, young Federico scurried until he reached the marketplace where people browsed unhurried. He filled the basket on his bike with aromas, herbs, and limes, jalapenos,
onions, and a pack of Anaheims. He added garlic, pickles, bread, and other market goods, then pedaled through the city park and deep into the woods. What a great, colorful marketplace. And somebody's selling churros over here. I love churros. A fallen branch had blocked the path, so Rico stopped his ride. With steady force, he pushed and budged the barrier aside. Hola, called Un Lobo, catching Rico unaware. I see you've packed a hefty lunch. You got some grub to spare? Sorry, Lobo, Rico said. I must be on my way. I have to be at Grandpa's shop by 12 o'clock today. Federico grabbed his bike and left the wolf behind. Little did he know the wolf had other plans in mind. What's going to happen? La tienda was deserted. Rico listened. Not a sound. The sign said closed, and what were those? Some paw prints on the ground? Federico peeked inside, alarmed by what he saw. A figure waved him over with a large and furry paw. Do you see who's behind the desk at the store? Who is that behind the counter? Abuelo? Whispered Federico, pulling off his hood. Yes, it's me, but I can't see. Come closer, if you would. I think you need a shave. Your beard has grown so thick. You think so, said El Lobo. Steady grooming does the trick. Look at him, he's got his claw out. Come here, little Federico. Uh-oh. Let's see what's going to happen. Your arms have gotten so grande. My new workouts made me strong. New dentures, too. They help me chew because they're sharp and long. See Federico starting to notice something not quite right about his grandpa. By now, the wolf was drooling. All this chatter's getting old. I'm hungry, bub. I need some grub before I pass out cold. What will Federico do? Okay, said Rico. Let me see. I've brought your favorite treats. Whole grain bread, a cabbage head, a jar of pickled beets. El Lobo's nose began to twitch. Mi niño, here's the deal. Set those yucky things aside and I'll make you my meal. Oh no, it's a bad wolf. The big bad wolf. He bounded from La Silla with a grunting, growling shout, but Rico tossed some chili powder straight into his snout. Oh my goodness. The wolf inhaled, he sniffed, he snuffed, he itched and twitched and wheezed. He tried to wipe his drippy nose, but sneezed! Uh-oh. The chili powder must be pretty hot. Federico ducked and dashed, then rummaged through his sack. Not so fast, you tasty tyke. I haven't had my snack. Federico's throwing things at him. But Rico quickly plotted. When the wolf's mouth opened wide, he grabbed un habanero and he jammed it deep inside. Uh-oh. If you've never tried habanero, you're gonna know. Well, I'll have to tell you, it's hot stuff. El Lobo gulped, he gagged, he coughed, his ozos blazed bright red. I guess that means his eyes, right? Steam was puffing out his ears. I need to dunk my head. He hurtled through La Porta with a shrieking, gasping scream and dashed as fast as he could go toward the distant stream. Oh my goodness, he's on fire inside from that hot pepper, from that habanero. That would be me too, I think. Ayuda, cried Abuelo from inside a bolted box. Rico found him safe and snug in just his shorts and socks. Oh no, because the wolf took Abuelo's clothes. Gracias, he scrambled out with shouts of pride and joy. I thought that wolf would do us in, but you prevailed, my boy. Oh, he's proud. His grandson was smart and tricky and got rid of the wolf. Rescued Abuelo. They cleaned the mess and Gramps got dressed, then shared a bit of lunch. How about we make a sauce that packs a special punch? They chopped and diced, used lots of spice, and simmered sauce all night, then bottled their concoction, Wolf's Bane salsa. Extra bite. That's their Pico. It's Wolf's Bane now. They're calling it super duper hot. Wolf's Bane means something that wolves don't like. And that, I think, is the end of the story. And here it has a recipe for the perfect Pico. Pico is short for pico de gallo, which literally means rooster's beak. It's a type of fresh salsa made with tomatoes, onions, and jalapenos. Some people prefer to use Anaheim peppers in place of jalapenos for a milder flavor, but either way you make it, this Pico is perfecto. And it gives you the ingredients and how to do that. And over here, it tells us what some of those special Spanish words were that I didn't always know, but I guessed. I think they did a good job of giving us clues as to what the words meant if we don't know. And cuidado is caution or care, just like any mom would say when their kid is off on their bike, right? And that is the end. And in the beginning, the end papers had the wolf and the little boy. And at the end, the end papers have Grandpa, Abuelo, and the little boy. And that is the end of that really fun and super colorful story. A modern version of Little Red Riding Hood, in case you didn't guess, but I think you guessed. All right, are we ready to hear a story on the board? All right. Okay, so this next story is one of my favorites to tell in story time because it has a lot of things that you can do to help out and tell the story. For example, when the knight jumps onto the horse and rides to the forest, you can clippity-clop on your lap like that. And when the knight jumps onto the horse with a big loud thunk, that's the sound of her armor, you can do that. And there's also another sound, but I'm not going to tell you that one yet, that you can help me with. I think you're going to figure it out really quickly. Okay, so here's how it goes. It's called Good Night, Good Night. Once upon a time, there was a knight, and she was a good knight. And one night, this knight was standing guard outside her castle when all of a sudden, from a cave in the forest, she heard a very loud and very scary roar. Can you roar with me? Roar! I wonder what that could be, thought the knight. But she was a good knight and a brave knight, so she jumped on her horse with a big loud thunk. She rode through the forest with a clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. And when she got to the cave, she jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk, and she went inside. And what do you think she saw in there? What was making that roaring sound? I'll tell you what it was. It was 1, 2, 3 baby dragons. And they were getting ready to go to sleep. "What is the matter?" said the good knight. "I heard you roaring." And the first little baby dragon said, "Excuse me, I'm very thirsty. Would you please get me a drink of water?" Okay, well, she hadn't had a lot of experience babysitting, but she was a good knight. So she got a little drink of water for that first baby dragon and gave it to the dragon. And then she said, "Good night, good dragons. Sleep well, sleep tight." And she jumped back on her horse and she rode through the forest with a clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. And when she got to her castle, she jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk, and she started to guard again. Well, not too much time had passed when she heard another loud and scary roar coming from the forest. So she jumped back on her horse. She rode through the forest with a clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. When she got to the cave, she jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk. And then she went inside and asked the dragons, "Good dragons, what is the matter now? I gave you a glass of water, but I heard you roaring again. What can I do?" And so the second baby dragon said, "Excuse me, but can you read me a story?" Okay. So she read the baby dragons a story that started once upon a time, like most good fairy tales do. And then she said, "Okay, good dragons, sleep well, sleep tight." And she jumped back on her horse and she rode through the forest, clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. And when she got to her castle, she jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk, and she stood guard there again. But guess what?
A few minutes later, she heard another loud and scary roar coming from the forest. By now she was getting very tired and maybe even a little bit grouchy, but she was a good knight, so she jumped on her horse and she rode through the forest, clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. She jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk, went into the cave, and she said, "Okay, dragons, listen. I got you water. I read you a story. What else do you need?" And the littlest baby dragon said, "Excuse me, but will you sing me a song?" Oh, boy. Well, being a knight, she had never sung a song to a baby dragon before, so she had to quickly think and make one up, and she sang, "Rock-a-bye dragon in the treetop, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come dragon, cradle and all." Oh, what a nice song that was. Oh, that was really sweet. So she said, "All right, good night, good dragons. Sleep well, sleep tight." She jumped on her horse. She rode back to the forest, clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. Arriving at the castle, she jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk, and she started to guard it again. It was getting very dark out and very late, and the knight was very grumpy. Even her horse was getting tired and grumpy. But guess what she heard one more time through the forest? A very loud and very scary roar. She didn't really want to do it, but she was a good knight, so she jumped on her horse and she rode back through the forest, clippity-clop, 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 and arrived at the cave and jumped off her horse with a big loud thunk. And she said, "Listen, dragons, I got you water. I read you a story. I even sang you a song. What else could you possibly need to go to sleep and let me do my business?" And the little dragons all said together, "Excuse me, but could you give us a kiss goodnight?" Oh, boy. This is not what she had learned in night school, but she decided that she would kiss their little scaly cheeks. All right. Good night, good dragons. Sleep well, sleep tight. She tucked them in. She jumped back on her horse and rode through the forest. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. She arrived at her castle and jumped off with a big loud thunk. Oh boy. And then a few minutes later, what do you think was heard through the forest? No, not another big loud scary roar. It was the sound of snoring. The good knight had fallen asleep. It had been a very, very long night. And that's the end of that fun story. Good night, good night. Sleep well, sleep tight. Okay, so this time I have a nice new rhyme to teach you, and it's about the month of March. And there's an old saying that says that the month of March roars in like a lion and then goes out like a lamb, because it usually starts so cold and windy, and by the end of March it's really kind of close to springtime and it's much more calm outside, not so much wind, the warmer weather comes. So this rhyme is called March. Ready? The month of March has just blown in to say that spring will soon begin. March roars like a lion with bluster and slam, and then tiptoes out quietly like a little gentle lamb. Good. Should we do that one more time? You ready? The month of March has just blown in to say that spring will soon begin. March roars like a lion with bluster and slam, and then tiptoes out quietly like a gentle little lamb. Good. I really like that rhyme. That's perfect, and we can only use it for a few weeks because March is a short month. So, well, yeah, I like that one. How about we do another one about the wind, the playful wind? The wind came out to play today. It swept the clouds out of its way. It blew the leaves, and away they flew. The trees bent low, and their branches too. The wind blew the great big ships at sea, and the wind blew that kite away from me. Oh no. Let's do that one more time. Ready? The wind came out to play one day. It swept the clouds out of the way. It blew the leaves, and away they flew. And the trees bent low, and their branches too. The wind blew the great big ships at sea. There's the sail, see that? And the wind blew a kite away from me. Oh no, that does happen sometimes. Hold on tight if you have a kite and you're outside on a windy day. All right, do you remember last week we did the rhymes, rain on the green grass? Are you ready? Here we go. Rain on the green grass and rain on the trees, rain on the housetop, but not on me. Good job, let's do it one more time, ready? Rain on the green grass and rain on the tree, rain on the housetop, but not on me. Good, good. Those are really fun spring rhymes. I enjoyed those. Okay, everybody, I hope you had fun with our modern fairy tales today. If you picked up a craft bag at the library, stick around. We're going to make a dragon face at the end. If not, no problem. I will see you next week. Have a great rest of the week. Bye. Okay, so if you picked up a craft bag, today's craft is going to be a scaly dragon, just like in our story, Good Night, Good Night. So you should have in your craft bag a green face for the dragon, some pieces to be the dragon's face, and a piece of bubble wrap. From home, you're going to need a glue stick and a green marker. Now, why does it have to be green and why does it have to be a marker? Because we are going to use this bubble wrap and the marker to make some scales on our dragon. Are you ready? So first, we take the marker, turn it on its side, and rub it over the bubble wrap. And it should still be nice and wet. And then we put it on top of the green paper that's going to be the face. We pull it away, and look, we have scales. Let's do that a couple more times and cover our dragon with scales like a real dragon has. Well, a real pretend dragon. This is really fun to do. I love using bubble wrap to make texture on things because you can do it with just a marker, which is really easy. You can use it to make like a honeycomb on a beehive, bubbles in a fish bowl, an ocean scene, scales for a snake or a dragon, or a dog, anything you like. It's nice texture. Okay, so we've got our scaly dragon. Okay, so now we can take out the parts that are in the bag and put them on the face. And first what we're going to do is I'm going to show you where everything goes. So these are like little horns that sort of go on the top, maybe ears even. So we can put those on now. Get your glue stick. And it's up to you. I'm going to probably put mine behind the darker green so that there's plenty of room on the face, because we still have to add some fun eyebrows and some nostrils and stuff. So, okay, got that going on there. The next thing we're going to add is these fun eyebrows. Like that. And some eyes. Now the eyes, you're going to need to add your own circle to. So you can use that green marker again, or a different color marker if you like, and add little circles to the middle, like that. Mine looks a little bit surprised. I'm going to put some nostrils down here. It's going to be the snout. And then some fire coming out of those nostrils. He's a fire-breathing dragon, just like in the fairy tales. But this guy does not look scary. He looks rather silly. Okay, and then the last thing we have or sort of like these little side pieces. They can go down here or up here, or you can stick them out this way, that way, however you like them. I think I'm gonna make mine go, I think I'd like to put them down here. Make his face look a little wider. And that is your dragon. And I will see you next week. Bye.